Welcome. Let's settle for the details. Chief Justice Gertrude Tokono has expressed frustration over the level of increasing wealth grabbing creeping into businesses and the Ghanaian society. The CJ made the remark at the Full Gospel Businessmen Fellowship Conference on maintaining integrity in running business. According to her, the craving for wealth and property has increased or has inspired greed among society. James Aveji has more in the following report.
The Agan Bribe Partners Fund, a subsidiary of the Full Gospel Businessmen Fellowship International, held the 2024 cocktail meeting and conference as part of efforts to promote the principles of doing business and succeeding the godly way. This year's conference was organized on the theme, Integrity of a Business Person. Delivering the guest speech, Chief Justice Gertrude Tokono established the difficulty that comes with maintaining integrity in today's world of very competing interests.
If you are going to be able to walk a walk of integrity, you have to be so fastened and so sure and so thoroughly immersed in your identity as a Christian that you cannot be shaken.
She also shared reasons many businesses are struggling to survive.
And that is why this scripture that you can't serve God and money is so important for business people. I think many people meander into choices and options for business and for a career and for professions for reasons other than a foundation coming from the knowing that God wants them to be there.
A distinguished member of the fellowship, Dr. Joe Taki, in his testimony said, choosing the path of integrity as a business person has come with a price to pay.
There is a price we all pay in compliance. When you stand for what is right, you experience a lot of losses. Sometimes you'll be despised, but trust me, it pays to be desirous of standing for what is right and do what is right.
President of the Full Gospel Businessmen Fellowship, Emmanuel Baba Mahama, bemoaned the impact of corruption on economies, calling on stakeholders to help fight the canker.
If we don't do that, many people who could have avoided death will continue to die. Many children who would have had better education from local schools that are well-resourced will not get adequate education. Many women will die prematurely because there's no clinic or hospital there. So that's why we must fight corruption and fight it very strongly.
CJ Tokono said she's worried about how greed is slowly taking over the heart of some business owners.
I don't understand the level of cravings and the level of monies that people need. I don't understand it. It just seems the figures are too high and too weird, you know. I often ask those close to me, are they buying islands or something? What are they doing? What do they need all of this for? You see?
Some members of the fellowship also shared their thoughts with Joy News.
So when I hear the leadership tell me that I need to watch my prayer life, it encourages me that all the time I am spending praying is paying out.
You should just work hard. Be in your lane. Be diligent in whatever you are doing. And God himself will give to you. You don't look for them.
And the fact that God is watching over me, I don't have to worry about too many things. Just do what is required of me and leave the rest to God and rest in his love.
For when all is said and done, you cannot serve God and money.
Indeed, at the end, when all is said and done, we shall come to appreciate that we cannot serve God and man at the same time. From the Regent Hotel here in Accra, my name is James Aveji for Joy News.
The German mission in Ghana is advising security agencies against the use of brute force in maintaining law and order during the 2024 general elections in Ghana. In the 2020 general elections, the National Election Security Task Force reported a total of 8 deaths amidst violent incidents in some parts of the country. However, security experts are hoping that these violent clashes and deaths may not be repeated in the 2024 elections. To this end, a number of training courses are being organized by the Kofi Annan Peacekeeping Training Center and the German government to equip security personnel on early warning systems and management of actual election security incidents. Rejoice Semefa has more.
Elections in West Africa have been plagued with violence that threatens the peace, security, and stability in the sub-region. Election-related violence has become a recurring political issue and a major source of threats to security in the West African region. The one-week election violence training course was organized to equip command-level security personnel with models for managing the conduct of election and security incidents during and after the 2024 elections. The models cover election violence trends, assessment, intelligence management, and early warning, election management and media framework, and the role of security agencies in the electoral process. Deputy Head of Delegation at the German Embassy has advised the security forces in Ghana against using force and attack strategies in dealing with actual election irregularities in the upcoming elections, stressing the importance of building trust between security forces and the citizens.
I believe that the ground definitely is there to have free and fair elections. We often say that a very robust response is actually contradicting the idea of security forces. At the end of the day, you need the trust of the citizens into the security agencies of the state to have also the democratic legitimacy of the government enjoying the trust of the people whom they represent. So this training is also part of that, to improve the capabilities of security agencies, actually a variety of them, Ghana Armed Forces, Ghana Police Service, Ghana Immigration Service, to prepare them even better for the upcoming elections, to manage potential upcoming security incidents. Because we need the citizens to be able to vote in an environment that is free and fair, but also secure, that they feel safe to give the vote to the candidate that they deem appropriate.
Course Director at the Kofi Annan Peace Training Center, ACP Abdul Razak, has been explaining the essence of the course.
KRPTC, as a center of excellence, has a gamut of courses that it organizes to prepare the security agencies at the command level, so that when they go, they are able to replicate whatever knowledge they've acquired to their subordinates who will be working under them. The Election Violence Security course is one of such courses, and it's made up of almost about 10 modules, if you want, call them subjects. And this include us knowing the literature surrounding the conduct of elections, that is electoral cycle, what goes into it, then the distinguishing factor of the violence causes of elections, and how the security agencies can manage them. The essence is just to prepare the security agencies to know how to manage and then deal with actual security-related violence and then perceived. Because most of these things, they will report them, but they are not real incidents. And they need to know how to deal with. So it's all encompassing.
Some security personnel who participated in the training have been sharing their insights on the models.
If you look at the models that are captured in the course, it's designed such that it prepares you, the leaders, on what to expect and how to execute your tasks as a security personnel. So I will say that the models were very relevant, especially if you look at early warning systems. It makes you aware that there are signals that you can easily pick. and based on that, you prepare and then brief your men accordingly. So it's very relevant. We know that we are going into a critical election period, and therefore everybody is preparing very well to be able to deal with the situation as they arrive, knowing that security is part and parcel of election process. So we continue to prepare, looking at the expectations, and we know that the Ghanaian people are looking up to us to deliver on our mandate, and inshallah we will do just that.
To one of our headline stories, parliamentary candidate for Ewutu Senya East constituency in the Central Region, Phyllis Na Okuno, has been released by the Cantonment Police. The party's flag bearer, John Mahama, in a tweet last night said the arrest is unlawful and warns that it will only spark avoidable tension ahead of the 2024 general elections. We have details of that statement for you shortly. First, listen to the National Youth Organizer of the NDC, Opariado, addressing the press after the release.
Going into September, there will be many more such calls. And any time we call upon you, we expect you to respond. We will come. Power is not going to give it to our Thank you. We're going to work hard, take power from a Kufado in the Thank you. What happened to Nakoyo could happen to anybody. When we called on you, you responded. Thank you very much. Going I will not be kind into submission. We will do what is right for this country. We're a peace-loving political party, but that doesn't mean anybody can take us for granted. When they dare us, we will respond.
Michael Papani Ashali now joins me via Zoom with details of John Mahama's tweet. Papani, what does the tweet say?
Well, he starts by saying that there's no justification for the decision by the Inspector General of the Police on the orders of the National Security Advisor, Albert Kandapa, to detain parliamentary candidate for the Ewutu Senya East constituency in police custody. Now, he goes on to say that this action taken on the instructions of the National Security Secretariat will needlessly raise the political temperature in the country and spark avoidable tension. Now, he says he's calling on the IGP, the Peace Council, government, and the people of Ghana to recognize that justice is not just a moral imperative, but a critical and crucial prerequisite for maintaining peace and stability in the country. He says clearly the intention to detain her after she had already been granted bail is an attempt to intimidate the NDC parliamentary candidate for that area in an attempt to try and stifle their attempt to unseat the Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture, Hawa Kumsin. Finally, he ends that by saying that he's urging the IGP to urgently reconsider his actions to release Na Koyo immediately for the sake of justice and the stability of our nation. And we know that as it stands now, she has been released.
Right. Thank you very much, Michael. Michael Papani Ashali is with Joy News. If you just joined us, you're watching Joy Newsroom with me, Emma Davis. We will be going to the NDC headquarters for more, and we will bring you that update as and when. Moving on, the Gamanchani Takiteko Churi II has commended the Ghana Armed Forces for their integrity and diligence in maintaining peace both within and outside the country. He acknowledged their recognition as the world's best peacekeepers by the United Nations. Ni Takiteko Churi II says the chieftaincy institution and the military can collaborate to ensure continued peace in the country. He made the remarks after paying a courtesy call on the Ghana Armed Forces.
I came here today with my chiefs, queen mothers, and delegates to show my appreciation and support for the outstanding services and dedication we have received from Ghana Army as a people. We see you work with integrity, with diligence, and your presence in this country has held this country together in several elections that we have seen. The professionalism, the discipline, the devotion to duty of personnel of the Ghana Army, even while keeping peace outside the shores of this country. Peace-building operations in different parts of the world has won for the military and worldwide an acclaim for being the world's best peacekeepers of the UN. Will the military put their hands together for themselves? Collaboration, chieftain, and the military could have several ways to collaborate. We want this day to let you know that we are just here to start a relationship, build a foundation.
Now, Asantehene Otumfuo Osei Tutu II has demonstrated his commitment to restoring degraded lands and greening Kumasi as he leads residents in the Ashanti region to plant over 2.5 million trees. This activity is part of the National Green Ghana Day initiative, which forms part of a broader effort to combat deforestation, climate change, and promote sustainable development. Nana Boachi Adom has more.
The Asantehene Otumfuo Osei Tutu II took the lead in a significant tree planting exercise as part of the nationwide Green Ghana project. He wielded his spade skillfully into the soil, demonstrating his unwavering dedication to making Kumasi one of West Africa's greenest cities. Ashanti Regional Minister Simon Osei Mensah highlighted the importance of the initiative.
This exercise is very relevant to mankind. You know, there's a saying that when the last tree dies, the last man dies. Only that we've not taken time to analyze this statement. It looks very simple, but it's very deep. You know, trees or plants breathe out oxygen, and we human beings breathe in oxygen, and we breathe out carbon dioxide, which the trees also use to process their food. So when there's no tree, there will not be oxygen, and we will not have any air or any oxygen to breathe in. That is why we see that when the last tree dies, the last man also dies, because there will not be any oxygen for us to breathe in.
According to the Ashanti Regional Manager for the Forestry Commission, Clement Amo Omare, the region has made significant progress with the tree planting initiative.
During the last 3 years, the national figures, we have around 41 million seedlings planted. And for Ashanti region, we've done about 14 million seedlings. And then the success rate is about, when we did the last assessment, is about 75%, which is very encouraging. You know, especially those who are collecting to plant at their backyard and then their various space. We take their records. So from time to time, we follow them to see whether actually they planted the trees or not. And so far, what we have assessed so far, they have planted most of the trees around their backyard, and it's very encouraging.
Meanwhile, the Forestry Commission Training Center in the Ashanti region is taking inventory of trees planted in previous exercises. It will involve the replanting of the trees that failed to survive after being planted last year. At a ceremony to mark the Green Ghana Day, the director of the training center, Dr. Andrew Osei Okra, explains the center is leading the planting of over 22 seedlings.
Our mission is not just to plant trees, but to ensure we nurture them for the trees to grow. So what we have put in, that our stakeholders have been given the necessary expertise to ensure that they make sure they nurture them, where you have to read around, water it at the right time they are doing it. So on occasion like this, as the supervisors or the coordinators of it, we take advantage to go around and see what was done last year and see if there are any areas that we have to patch up. In forestry, we call that thing, if some are dead, we call it beating up. It's natural that you plant 10 trees, 1 or 2 will die. It's natural because the strengths are not the same. Then all we need to do, then you replant, you slow that. So at the moment, what with areas that we did last year, that one is also going on.
For Joy News, Nana Boache Dankwe Kumasi.
Chief Executive Officer of Bui Power Authority, Samuel Kofi Jamasi, says a policy to conserve and protect 26 indigenous economic tree species has been approved by the authority's board of directors. Speaking at the Green Ghana Day at the Bui Generating Station, Mr. Jamasi said community members are being sensitized on the economic benefits of the species and in the generation of hydropower. Precious Semevo has more from Bui.
As part of the consistent measures to safeguard the hydro dam against the impact of climate change and sustain its socio-economic importance, is planting 16,003 various tree species to increase the forest cover at the Bui enclave. It forms part of the 4th edition of the Green Ghana Day themed Growing for a Greener Tomorrow. Chrysanthus Bankiwa Kunifa is the Director of Operational Health, Safety, Security and Environment at BPA.
We do not have Green Ghana Day as a separate project from the Forest Resource Enhancement Program, which seek to reforest the vegetation, especially around the shoreline where we have our reservoir. We don't want to have siltation, we don't want to have sedimentation, we don't want to have people cutting trees illegally. We want to improve on the hydrological cycle as we are a hydropower manager, so that we continue to get more water into our reservoir.
The CEO, Samuel Kofi Jamasi, said a strong political will with increased investment using available technologies such as hydro and solar is needed to generate power in line with the Sustainable Development Goal 13, which advocates for climate action. He revealed BPA's approval of a policy to protect identified indigenous tree species with economic benefits. Director of Power Operations, Engineer Samuel Nimako Boatin, spoke on his behalf.
Aside protecting our installations and our forest, cashew farms within the catchment area were protected, thereby enhancing biodiversity conservation. In line with our conservation drive, it is worth noting that the Board of Directors of BPA in 2023 approved a policy on the conservation of a total number of 26 different economic, indigenous and domesticated tree species identified within the Bui enclave. Currently, the identified tree species are being tagged for easy identification and also to sensitize the community members about them with an assistance from the Wildlife Division, that's the Bui National Park. We are grateful to you, Park Manager, and your team.
The Bono region is planting 750,000 tree seedlings out of the 10 million earmarked by Ghana. Precious Semevo, Joy News, Bui.
The Electricity Company of Ghana has implored the public to help in combating illegal connection that robs the power distribution company of revenue. The Volta Regional General Manager of the ECG, Ms. Christina Jato Kaleo, implored the public to remain vigilant and report incidents to the appropriate authorities. She was speaking to Joy News after a stakeholder engagement with the Volta Regional Minister, Dr. Archibald Lecha, in Ho.
The Electricity Company of Ghana embarked on a series of engagements to build collaboration with stakeholders. This is aimed at seeking concerns and counsel on the operations of ECG to enhance service delivery. At one of such engagements, the Volta Regional Minister, Dr. Archibald Lecha, raised concerns about the incidents of power theft.
The new Regional General Manager has started the way the previous ones also started. So we're hoping that we'll have that level of collaboration and cooperation. We don't fight. We only If there are challenges, we draw your attention to it. And then we see what we can do together to address the issues. But I don't think the ECG is doing badly in the Volta region. No, not at all. You are doing well. But the power theft and the wastage is also still there. People are specialized in illegal connection. Some of them have allies in your organization. I went to a place the other day, I nearly caused the arrest. They bypassed the meter, and I could recognize it. And I nearly called the police. And so I caused them to pay something extra to ECG, Interma. Yes, I went on a visit and now I can know. If I see it, I know.
We have to give you an informant award.
The Volta Regional General Manager of the Electricity Company of Ghana, Ms. Christina Jatwe Kaleo, indicated her outfit's commitment to reducing power theft.
In the first place, it is not patriotic to go stealing power or encouraging anybody to steal. It doesn't help ECG, it doesn't help the nation at large. We are appealing to all that we know we have a few of our people who are bent on doing these things, but we are appealing to all and sundry. If you see something, say something. Tell ECG. If you don't want your face even to be seen, you can go to our app, the ECG Power app. You can report some of these things there, or our social media handles. Your identity will be protected. Thank you, but we call on everybody to help us to stem this menace of people stealing power, because it hurts everybody. Nobody benefits from it. Those who think they are even benefiting, there is no good benefit out of it. There are serious consequences. You go do illegal connection, it can come with consequences of bad wiring that can end up burning down your facility.
ECG entreated the MMDCs and other institutions to directly engage their outfit for power extension, among others, for efficient service delivery. Fred Kwame Asari, Joy News, Ho.
In a significant stride toward her campaign for the Secretary General position of the Commonwealth, Ghana's Minister for Foreign Affairs, Shirley Ayokoboche, on Saturday, 8th June 2024, was granted an audience with the Sultan of Brunei, Hassanal Bolkiah Ibn Omar Ali III, which the minister considers as a major boost to her cause. The high-profile discussions primarily centered on fortifying the long-standing bilateral relations between Ghana and Brunei. Both nations expressed a firm commitment to enhancing cooperation across multiple sectors, reinforcing their shared values and mutual interests. Joy News editor MFA Pew is with the team in Brunei and joins us via Zoom with more. Hi MFA, thank you for joining us. How significant is this meeting with the King to Ayokoboche's bid? MFA, can you kindly unmute?
Sorry. Yes, I've done that. I beg your pardon. And thank you very much, Emma, and it's good to see you. So really, this particular visit, I must say, the very last time we had a Ghanaian official at that high level visit Brunei and, of course, interact with the king when he was installed, was supposed to be the late former president, Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings. And I must say that the gift that he presented to the king back then is safely preserved at the museum. As we speak, from what I'm told, at least, it was a closed-door meeting between the Sultan, his side, and then our side, led by Shirley Ayokoboche, Foreign Affairs Minister, like you've rightly said. Key issues that were on the table included waiving visas, visa fees for diplomatic and service passport holders, to enable free trade and also enable bilateral ties between the two countries to be strengthened as we speak. Also, the issue about education came out tops for the Sultan. For him, he's taking note of the fact that there are some Ghanaians, a few of them. He says he has 2 professors and about 3 or so students who are currently in Brunei. And for him, it's a good time to extend that to make it possible for more and more Ghanaians to be able to take advantage of the education, the quality of education at that higher level that is available right here in Brunei, Dar es Salaam. And so that's one of the key issues that came up. Also, the issue about climate change also came up for the two leaders especially. I must say that before the meeting between our Foreign Affairs Minister and the Sultan himself, there was a meeting also between Sheila Yokobuchi and her counterpart, which is the Foreign Affairs Minister for this country also. And for him also, as part of Sheila Yokobuchi's bid, even though the bid and campaign is key for her, the stronger ties for Ghana and Brunei is on top, at least. That's the key priority for her and the team that visited Brunei today, because, like I said, it's been such a while since we had any leader, a Ghanaian leader, visit Brunei for that kind of extensive bilateral talks. So as we speak, these are the key issues that have come up. And of course, she put in a word or two when it comes to her bid to be able to occupy the Secretary General position for the Commonwealth. So as part of the official visit, she also made a case for herself and put her case before the king that when it comes to the voting in October in Samoa, at least, we know that all 56 countries, they all have one vote each, and she's hoping that Brunei's vote will definitely fall for Ghana on that day. That's basically, that's what these two key meetings today, that what I say is the significance and the outcome of that meeting today, Emma.
MFA, would you say the prospects are bright for her?
Like I say, because of the interactions that I've seen her have extensively with other people in this country, I've seen that, of course. It looks like we've had publicly, some countries have already declared their support for her. It includes Kenya. We've seen Kenya declaring their support. We've seen countries like Grenada. We've seen Trinidad and Tobago. Most of these countries have already publicly declared. We've seen others who are also who have done it privately but not done it publicly. But as we speak, amongst the three key contenders, it looks like Shelia Yokobuchi comes top for them, at least from the interactions that I've had with some of these leaders and, of course, their representatives when it comes to Shelia Yokobuchi's bid for the Commonwealth Secretary General position. So basically, this is what it looks like. But her team are not taking it like it's a done deal. They are not complacent about this situation at all. And campaign is still on. And I must say that she takes the opportunity from every official visit that she embarks on for the country, and then takes advantage of it and puts in a word for her bid as well. I must also add that she met the Ghanaian community in Malaysia before we headed to Brunei, which we know is very close, just 2 hours via flight. And the key issue for her is the case where we've had the youth from Accra or Ghana all migrating to all sorts of countries. You know the saying that there's a Ghanaian in every part of the world. And so it's true in Malaysia, and like I've been telling you also in Brunei. But for her, we should use the right channels. The agents that she uses is very, very important. And so for her, she's going to push for a review of that particular ban on agencies and taking people out of the country. And once you get out of the country legally, for her, wherever you find yourself as a Ghanaian, if it is indeed legal or even if it is illegal, make sure that you register so that if there is any problem, they find a way to help you as a Ghanaian so that it doesn't look like Ghanaians everywhere have been neglected. So these are the key takeaways also from her meeting with Ghanaians, the Ghanaian community in Malaysia that happened.
Right. Thank you very much, MFA. We wish her the best of luck. MFA Pearl is a Joy News editor. Let's take you back to one of our earlier stories and one of our headline stories where parliamentary candidates for Ewutu Senior East constituency in the central region, Phyllis Okuno, has been released by the Cantonment Police. And I have my colleague Kenneth Jesse at the NDC headquarters to bring us up to speed on what is happening on the ground. Hi, Kenneth. Thank you for joining us. Can you brief us? Can you bring us up to speed on what's happening? Well, we are trying to still connect with my colleague Kenneth Jesse, who is currently at the NDC headquarters and who will be bringing us to speed after the Ewutu Senior, Eutusenya East constituency in the Central Region, the lady was released. Phyllis Okuno was released by the Cantonment Police, and on the back of her release, the party's flag bearer, John Mahama, in a tweet last night said the arrest is unlawful and warned that it would only spark avoidable tension ahead of the 2024 general elections. We hope we can be able to connect with him as soon as possible. But what you see on the screens is the national youth organizer of the NDC, Opare Ado, who addressed the press after she was released. You're still watching Joy Newsroom with me, Emma Davis. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome. Let's do some business stories now, because June 7 is celebrated as World Food Safety Day. In fact, the month of June is designated as World Food Safety Month. Hence, today's episode of Food Chain, which will be airing at 6 p.m. on the Joy News channel, explores the role of the Veterinary Services Directorate of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture in ensuring food safety and protecting public health. June 7 is earmarked as World Food Safety Day. World Food Safety Day aims to draw attention and inspire action to help prevent, detect, and manage foodborne risks, contributing to food security, human health, economic prosperity, agriculture, market access, tourism, and sustainable development. This year, the Veterinary Services Directorate of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture is highlighting the importance of animal health in the food supply chain. I bet you barely thought of the importance of protein or animal health in your diet, but here is Deputy Head of Veterinary Services Directorate, Dr. Benjamin Kisi Sasu, explaining why the well-being of animals is crucial in food safety.
There's a need to put in the right procedure. What kind of breed are they taking into consideration of rearing? What kind of food are they giving? Let's not forget, the type of food that we give to the animal is what will make their body, their flesh, which will be food for us in the long run. So if you give them anything, it's like cabbage in, cabbage out. That's what the type of food we have. I know sometimes when people get to here in Europe, pigs being kept in air-conditioned areas and the type of food, we get amazed. It's because they realize the importance of food being served on their table. So their product will taste differently because of the kind of process they found ourselves. For veterinary services, it's more important because we deal with farmers in this food value chain. So what do? We try to train these farmers, and currently there's an initiative called Farmer Food School, which occurred in Bono region, Western region, trying to take farmers through the best practices to apply their farm.
Did you know that whatever medicine animals take could affect human consumption? Well, Dr. Sasso explained why some medications humans take do not work because of residues deposited in the protein we consume.
So many a time, we forget that the drugs that we take, the same drug that the animals take, just that they are in different forms and other additives are added. The penicillin that we take, they are also taking penicillin, doxycycline, all the antibiotics that we could mention. The same to the dewormers, they also have their own form. So there's a need to look at it. So when we talk about food being safe in the animal production area, we're looking at the food that is not bringing a human any disease after consumption. Even the preparation, you don't get issue of infection, and two, you're not picking any residue. The sad thing about chemicals or toxins that are found in this product is that sometimes they don't manifest immediately. They may be long-term effect. So we realize that we are seeing people now having issues with kidney failure and liver because these are toxins that we'll be getting from food.
For the sake of public health, Emmanuel Ishon of Epidemiology Unit at the Veterinary Services Directorate assured that the Directorate intercepts all forms of hints that prove that the protein may be contaminated and affect public health.
We are, what do you call it, part of the World Organization of Animal Health, just like WHO. We have an institution for animal health. It's called the World Organization of WOA, and we are a member. And so across the world, everything that happens in terms of disease on animals, the members receive alert. So if you are bringing a product, a poultry product, you want to know whether it is salmonella free, whether it is AI, even influenza free, that country. If it is not, we will not allow you to bring it from there, because whatever product you are bringing will affect our animals here.
You'd like to catch the full conversation today at 6 p.m. right here on the Joy News channel. Moving on, the Ghana Airport Company Limited has assured of the company's readiness to facilitate operations and processes in working collaboratively with all agencies at the airport to ensure a seamless working environment. According to Managing Director for the company, Yvonne Opare, more international airlines should leverage the Ghanaian aviation space and expand investments. She was speaking at the inaugural ITA Airways flight in Accra.
Direct connection between Ghana and Italy, which is the first for the company in establishing a greater presence in West Africa, a key destination for both leisure and corporate traffic. Following the Accra route, a new flight from Rome, Fiumicino to Dakar will be inaugurated in July. Managing Director for the Ghana Airports Company Limited, Yvonne Nana Opare, urged other airlines to explore opportunities within the Ghanaian market.
Today, we witnessed the launch of a flight that will be operating from Rome, Italy to Accra, Ghana. ITA Airways becomes the 24th international airline to operate into Kotoka International Airport. I take this opportunity to welcome ITA Airways to Accra and extend a hearty congratulations to the ITA team. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the commencement of flight operations on the Rome route is a clear indication of the confidence in Ghana's aviation industry and significantly enhances our efforts at positioning Ghana as the preferred aviation hub and leader in airport business in West Africa. The introduction of this direct flight route signifies a new era of convenience and efficiency for travelers, both for business and leisure purposes.
Vice President of International Sales at ITA Airways, Pier Francesco Carino, said the company is here to stay.
With the brand new 321 Airbus Neo, new generation aircraft, with 3 classes, one business class with 12 seats, full flat bed, then premium economy, 12 seats, and 141 seats in economy. It's designed by an architecture of mobility, Walter de Silva, with comfort and style, so it's really made in Italy style. And also the gastronomy on board of ITA Airways, it's designed by Michelin star chef Giancarlo Morelli. And the uniform of our crew are designed by Brunello Cucinelli. So ITA Airways is really an ambassador of Made in Italy.
Flights to and from Accra will be operated with the new Airbus A321neo, a new generation technological advanced aircraft. The A321neo is the largest aircraft in the Airbus A320neo family and offers exceptional range and performance.
That'll be it for business. Moving on to the health sector, because accidents and emergency medical situations requiring blood transfusion keep getting considerably high at the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital in Kumasi. Owing to this, blood units equivalent to 80 people are used daily to cater for emergency cases needing blood transfusion from the blood bank, stressing and inflicting blood inadequacy at the bank. The transfusion medicine unit at the hospital is underscoring the urgency of restocking the bank with regular blood donations from the public. Here's more.
Blood donation is a voluntary act of giving blood to be used to save the life of another person who might be known to you or not. with an average blood transfusion requiring about 3 units. Patients needing blood transfusion may be suffering from emergencies, including serious injuries from accidents and natural disasters. Making a blood donation uses about 1 pint, after which your body can replace all the cells and fluids that have been lost. The Konfanoshi Teaching Hospital uses an average of 80 units, equivalent to 80 people a day, and further supplies other health facilities, enforcing more pressure on its blood bank. Head of the transfusion medicine unit at the hospital, Dr. Leslie Osei, says the bank needs critical restocking to save more lives.
Blood is something that we cannot manufacture. We get it from human beings. Even though we've lived for so long, we've gone to space, we still cannot manufacture blood. So that is why we need to stock the blood bank. For instance, in Konfanoshi, we use an average of 80 units a day. That is 8 people's blood a day. At each point in time, you have to have at least 8. It's not always possible, but to say that we do have 0, no, it doesn't happen. But we always have to make sure that we replenish and then stock the blood bank.
Dr. Leslie was speaking at a blood donation event organized at the Calvary Charismatic Center in Kumasi in celebration of the 68th birthday of the founder and senior pastor of CCC, Ransford Obeng. The intervention, instituted by the senior pastor, aims to assemble Christian worshippers of CCC and the general public to donate their blood to hospital banks to save lives. According to Pastor Ransford Obeng, people with influence need to assist the needy.
In my life, I've never gone to hospital that they said you are short of blood, so you need that. But for the fact that the Lord has been good to me, I should use that influence that I have to help people who would need blood, and especially those in leadership, that we should use our influence to help people, to mobilize people so that we can do work of service for people who are in need. So I am proud to do this, and I'll continue doing it so long as God gives me life.
Some donors also spoke to Joy News.
This is one of the ways I bet me aboa nipa pii.
Reporting for Joy News, my name is Clinton Yabua.
Over 13% of Ghana's population suffer from some form of psychiatric illness. A study by the Konfanoshi Teaching Hospital has revealed mental cases in the country are seeing a rise owing to habitual craving for gambling and abuse of illicit drugs by young people. Experts are admonishing young people to open up about their addictions as a step toward being mentally relieved. Clinton Yabua has more in the following report.
Gambling and betting among the youth in contemporary Ghana have been identified as means of coping with social economic challenges and as a form of leisure, but they are also a recipe for mental trauma. Gamblers and substance abusers experience noticeable obsessions that lead them into a state of despair. A study from the Konfanoshi Teaching Hospital has ascertained the growing trend. Professor Pinaman Apeu is the chief executive of the Mental Health Authority.
Our youth face increasing rates of depression, anxiety, substance abuse, behavioral addictions such as gambling, and attempted suicides. For instance, one study, which was led by a psychiatrist from the Konfanoshi Teaching Hospital, involving 5,024 children aged between 8 and 17 years from 3 regions in Ghana, showed that 3.1% are engaged in gambling activities. This, ladies and gentlemen, is worrying.
Breaking the silence, a phrase championed in the Mental Health Awareness Month, connotes people opening up about their issues that alter their correct thoughts and behavior. Wife of the Asante Hene, Lady Julia Osei, partnered the KNUST, Konfanoshi Teaching Hospital, and Eve Medical Foundation to upstage a public engagement session on mental health dubbed "It is okay to influence positive responses to mental health issues." Meanwhile, the head of the psychiatric department at CAT, Dr. Ruth Owusuentwi, is decrying the inadequate mental health experts in the country.
Year by year, as we read our performance review, we realize that new cases we are seeing are going up. It's not a bad thing. It's probably because people are becoming aware and coming in. It's sad to say that there are just about 70 psychiatrists to over 30 million Ghanaians. If we don't take care, the psychiatrists themselves will break down. And so we want to appeal to the government to help us train more people, all cadre of mental health professionals, from psychiatrists, mental health nurses, psychologists, social workers, occupational therapists, all cadre of mental health professionals. We want the government to support the training institutions, to churn out many of them so that they can support the many Ghanaians.
In the midst of rising cases, the forum offered education to students on better understanding of mental health issues and appropriate quarters to seek help. Vice-Chancellor of KNUST, Professor Rita Akosia-Dixon, urged students and young people to speak up about mental health issues.
We must, it's a must, volunteer to be advocates for mental health. So the month of May will end, but you and I must continue to be the voice of the voiceless. We must continue to break the silence. It's okay to admit that there are issues.
Reporting for Joy News, my name is Clinton Yeboah.
That's how we part company on today's edition of the Joy Newsroom with me, Emma Davis. For more news, do log on to myjoyonline.com and be updated. Have a lovely Saturday.